I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. I love that quote. For such a small conversation, it packs a lot of meaning. Frodo was stuck in a situation he did not wish on himself, and he could not change it. It was a situation that not only frightened him, but also quite the burden for him to carry. And Gandalf understood how he felt, and then said those words, which have moved many. And those words are still applicable to this day. Much like Frodo being the one to carry and destroy the ring, a task which he did not necessarily volunteer for, we also can't control our circumstances, or the things that are happening in the world around us. Life can change so fast, and the plans for the future that we once had are suddenly no longer available, viable, possible. If the change is from the loss of a loved one or the news of a chronic illness, then it's not only scary but also heartbreaking. In such cases, grief is more than valid. It's also very needed, especially when other people around us don't understand how hard the change is, or how arduous adjusting to it can be. Their timeline for our own journey is often not how we ourselves need to navigate it. And it's frustrating. But regardless of how other people may view our new situation, then there can be great solace found in this conversation between two fictional characters. Frodo feels the same as you and I, and so does Gandalf. It may seem silly to find comfort in a hobbit and a wizard, but it's really not. Stories are not just created to entertain. They also bring comfort. They give us validation and insight into our own lives and the world around us. And they do the same for the writer. Stories tell us that we are not alone in our feelings or experiences. And being unable to control our own situations or the world's situation in general is a universal human truth. In this world, our world, we can't see our futures, not for certain. We can't predict the actions of others either. And these unforeseen occurrences will happen. We'll probably not have to bear the same burden as our dear Frodo, but our own burdens can feel just as heavy. Even the ones that we can only speculate about. The ones that haven't happened. And may never happen at all. And then there are times when small changes have happened or lighter burdens are cast upon us. We may feel overwhelmed by just the activities of day-to-day life. From self-care to cleaning, cooking, work or school, taking care of others, it can all pile on top of us. And lead to anxiety. Even then, the message is still the same, which is that all we can do is the best we can, given the situations that are given to us. We cannot control every aspect of our lives as much as we would like to, and that can be frightening. It can be overwhelming, even discouraging. And when things happen, when the circumstances of our lives change in big or small ways, we have a right to be scared, the right to feel overwhelmed, to be discouraged. We have the right to grieve for the future that we lost. And yet, we also have the right to keep going afterwards. We get to decide how to move on. We get to decide how to live right now. And there's a freedom in that. It's a freedom that means that we have choices that we can make right now. And that although there are things that are out of our control, that's just it. We don't need to worry ourselves with controlling them. We can only do what we can in any given situation. We don't know what's up ahead. So worrying or stressing about what could be won't help us. So why worry at all? We can decide not to worry. But with that said, I, of course, recognize that there are valid reasons and real illnesses that make my previous statement seem impossible. Maybe even callous. But I genuinely want to reassure you that I am in no way invalidating you. I'm sure you've had enough of that in your life already. Not everyone can always control what goes on in their own mind. And in that case, your burden may be even bigger than Frodo's. That in itself is a situation out of your control. Even when all you can do. Even when you do all you can to help yourself. Even then, accepting that circumstance, though I know you wish it were gone, is still giving yourself grace. It's still acceptance. And it means that you are as strong and as brave as Frodo was, if not more. There are things that we can choose in life, things that we have no say in. Yet, all we can do is the best we can. Whatever our individual burdens are, whatever life changes have happened, all we can do is our best. At times, my best and your best will be different from what we were able to do in the past. And that has a tendency to weigh us down even more. But changes that have happened, that affect you or I in greater ways, may mean that what was once easy for us is now harder, or not realistic at all. And sometimes that brings up feelings of shame. But this change in our best does not lessen our worth. We're all fighting different battles. Some which we would definitely have never chosen to fight at all, and sometimes we're fighting multiple battles at once. These battles, new circumstances, force change upon us, and even if the battlefield is quiet, change will come. we can do is our best, whatever that looks like. That's what we have to do. But then, there are battles, both figurative and literal, that are happening around us. It makes the world a terrifying and uncertain place. Add to that our own personal struggles, and our shoulders can be weighed down to the ground with all these burdens. And try as we might, we can do nothing to change the course of the world. And in this case, the same wisdom applies. What did Gandalf say when Frodo told him that he wished these things hadn't happened in his time? All we have to do, all we have to decide, is what to do with the time that's given to us. For me, this short but powerful conversation reminds me to just focus on the task at hand and do what I can to have a calm acceptance of life as it is and what it may become in the future. Because some things in life, in the world, are out of my control, and although I'll get anxious or even just stressed about big things or little things, I know that all I can do is my best, whatever that looks like at the time. For you, this quote may mean that changes have happened in your life. The new burdens you now have to bear are rightfully scary or unwanted. But nonetheless, you can carry on. Your best may look different now, but that doesn't mean that you're less strong or unworthy of love and kindness. Never forget that. Even Frodo got physically weak as his journey went on, but it didn't change his worth. His best changed too. But he did what he could in the situation he was given. And so can you. Whether it's our life changing, or the world around us, or the possibilities of changes that could happen, all we can do is decide what to do right now. All we have to do is our best. That's it. I know that saying it like that makes it sound so simple. But doing our best in changing situations or with an unknown future that can feel as if it's looming over our heads can seem complicated. But doing what we can, our best, however it's changed, is us taking care of ourselves. It's us being kind to ourselves. It's us being balanced and learning to live with our own individual limitations and to accommodate the changes that have already occurred. And it's also taking things as they come, whether it's one day, 1 hour, or even a few minutes at a time. And while doing so, deciding what to do at that very moment, and then moving on to the next, step by step. Our best can be hard work. That's true. But that's all that's needed. There's no superhuman strength required. No extra worries that need to be thought out. There's no need to add to our burdens. It's not our job to change the unchangeable. All we have to do, and all we can do, is our best. Everything else, the things that we may fear, the things that haven't happened, or events that have happened and that we can't control, all of these things are not for us to decide, or solely on us to fix alone. So, why add to our own burdens that we already carry? All we can do is the best we can. And that is enough.